You're looking at Jim Hume. How long you been on this project?
About 11 years, coming up on 11 years.
Where were you born?
Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Whoa!
Way up there.
How long did you live there?
About 4 years. And then everybody in the family had it with the snow.
And so, where'd you move?
Los Angeles, within sight of the City Hall, 1944.
Oh, wow. Do you remember Pearl Harbor?
No, but I remember the day the war was over, everybody was running up and down the street with flags, and I was only 5, so, but I remember the commotion.
Did you guys have indoor plumbing when you lived in California?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
But in Michigan, it did.
Well, I was just trying to establish the culture from which you came. What was your first car?
A 39 Pontiac Coupe, which I totally destroyed by trying to fix it.
What was your first race car?
I never owned a real race car. I worked on other people's, but I had a street hot rod for quite a while, a couple of those. I had a 39 Ford Coupe with an Olds in it. And then there was a 40 Merc Coupe that just was a driver, and I had a 40 Ford four-door sedan for 22 years, and I went through all different stages of hot rodism.
Did you ever get a race car?
Yeah, I had one for a while. Tim Hogan and I thought, and P.G. Johnson, we thought we could afford to run a top fuel car, but that didn't work at all.
So I know you've built parts, and I know you've built cars. What was the first car you built?
First car I built by myself was the Miller Warrior. Mike Hamby and Dale Pooley. I built that Buick Somerset for him, and that was it. It went out and won the first race it was in. Did pretty well the rest of the year. So I was happy with that, but I didn't want to build cars all the time. It's like cutting sausages. And,
is there a difference between pork sausage and beef sausage?
It's all the same out there. It's all decided by the color of the paint in the car and where they paint the headlights.
All right. Well, now you're living in Upper Washington State. How'd you get up here?
California chased me up here. I was tired of living down there and all the mess. I moved into the valley when I was 9 years old, and it was semi-rural at the time. There was a lot of orchards and nut farms, thoroughbred farms up in the north end of the valley. It was a beautiful place, but slowly it was engulfed and devoured by the throngs, and it just became a hard place to be in. There was so much traffic, the temperature had gone up, the humidity went up. I really noticed that while I was living down there, and finally it was time to get out. So my brother decided to sell this place and move closer to town, and we bought it and built the shop here, and that's what we did. And I figured whatever I got, I had a shop and tools, I could do something up here, whether it was race cars or not. But I did build the one funny car here, and I bodied and tinned a bunch of funny cars, and somehow this guy Marlo Treit walked into my shop one time with Jack Slavic, and then everything changed. Since then, it's been kind of a Bonneville men's toy factory here.
What was the first job you did for Marlo?
I put a plastic windshield on the rear engine dragster that Les Davenport was driving. They were in cahoots with the car. It was a rear engine top fuel car. It started out life as, and they kind of adapted it to Bonneville and Lakester class just to kind of prove out their combination, clutch, whatever, because Marlo had it in the back of his mind all the time that he wanted to do one of these unlimited piston-powered streamliners, and he was kind of using this as sort of his entryway into blown alcohol racing at Bonneville.
So, was it also his entryway into you?
No, I'd done quite a bit of work on the other car, the first car. The Lakester.
Yeah.
I did a lot of work on the Lakester. I put a body on it, 1 or 2 different front ends, 1 or 2 different rear ends. I think I put a new cage on it. Mounted the motor a couple of different times. Built a huge directional fin on it, and built a wing for it. I just did almost went over the whole car, one way or the other, except the main part of the chassis. And they proved their point with the car that they could run. They ran 330 with it and got a record, and that was it. Now it's time to concentrate on the big one.
Did you do the nose on that Lakester?
Yeah.
There's a little logo on the front of it, and it's got grapes in it. Why are there grapes in that?
Well, this is something I picked up a long time ago. One day out at San Fernando Raceway, a couple fellas, Roger Gates and Al Weiss, had a top gas dragster out there, and the blower scoop was made out of aluminum. It was shaped like a pumpkin shell, and Von Dutch had done it, and then he had painted it, and the leading edge of the scoop was left polished, and he'd taken some leather punches and did kind of neat little filigree punch along the leading edge of that scoop. That's just been in my mind for a long time, and then one day I had started my business here quite a few years ago down in Tarzana. And I was out one day looking around. I forget whatever, but the idea came in my mind maybe to have some kind of a little logo like that I could put in the aluminum here and there. So I stopped off at a leather shop, saddlery, shoes, stuff like that. And they had all these leather punches for sale, so I picked up a half a dozen of them. And the only one I could make anything out of that would be kind of a logo sort of thing was it was a leaf punch and a little dot, a circle. So that ended up what it was. I put them on quite a bit of the stuff. They only work on soft aluminum. They're real soft metal things. They work good on leather and then soft aluminum. That's about it. But people liked them. Thought it was kind of neat. Sometimes I put them some places where they were hard to find. And got to be a joke, looking for the grapes. And then one guy sarcastically told me not to put any on his car, so he didn't. And then he wanted to know where they were, where I'd hid them.
Didn't tell him.
I said there ain't any on there. He told me not to.